and it's really a genuine honor and pleasure to welcome you today. We're very excited. This is the first time we're standing publicly and sharing our Drupa 2016 news, and somebody asked me whether you get used to it and whether it's like the fourth time or the fifth time or the sixth time, and the truth is I have 4 kids, and I was just about excited about the fourth one than the first one. So I think we're all genuinely excited. And you'll meet here many people that have been in this industry for decades, and this is Drupa number 7 or 8, but I think you'll also meet a lot of young men and women who joined our industry over the last 1 or 2 years. For them, it's the first Drupa, and this is, I think, what makes this whole thing very fun. So welcome to Israel, as Francois already said. I'd like to ask, for how many is this your first time in Israel? Wow, quite a few. And how many were here in 1995 for the Drupa announcements? Quite a few as well. All right, so we have, again, a good mix of veterans, etc. I don't know what you people are thinking when you come to Israel for the 10th time or for the first time. What's your association? I recently pulled up an interesting survey which ranked Israel as number 11 on the World Happiness Index. So I don't know if we have anybody here from Denmark, which seems to be number 1 in the world. I know we have from Switzerland. Yeah, so the Swiss are the happiest people. And actually, this is a combination of the GDP, life expectancy, equality, a lot of other factors, but we are pretty happy, I think partially because we don't take anything for granted in life, because we're surrounded by pretty interesting neighbors. And partially because I think we have beautiful weather and the beautiful beach and a lot of history and culture. But anyway, beyond the happiness, I think actually the core of what Israel is all about is the innovation. And we're a relatively small country, 8.5 million people without any natural resources, and we've had to innovate our way to this happiness and to success. And at the end, a lot of it comes from the fact that we are actually very open to challenging conventional wisdom, to asking questions, to try to think out of the box. I think this is, very true for the evolution of how Israel influenced the printing industry, because we can never compete with the big giants head to head. The German and Japanese and American companies are bigger. They have a huge home market. They're always going to have more and better engineers than we have. We have to innovate our way to success, and hopefully today you'll see and feel and hear some of that. The second thing is we're very, very diverse. And over the next 2 days, you're going to meet, again, a huge group of men and women, young, older, born in Israel, born in Russia, born in South America, born in the United States, Jews, Muslims, Christians. And this diversity actually yields, I think, a lot of value, and this is true for our industry specifically, where we have a very diverse set of applications, a very diverse set of customers, and I think part of our innovation is from listening to our customers and capturing opportunities from one country, transforming it to another, or capturing opportunities in the packaging industry and moving into the commercial or vice versa. And for those of you in the industry, and for those of you that were here 20 or 25 years ago, you know that Israel has this long heritage of innovating in the graphic arts and actually reinventing graphic arts. So I think this HP tagline of reinventing is very appropriate for what we've been doing in the graphics industry for years. It started with Cytex actually way before 1992 in the late 70s and 80s, and then Indigo in 1993 and 1994 and 5. And it's actually for us a great honor that the State of Israel has just actually acknowledged these 2 companies and these 2 industries of the pre-press and the digital printing industry. And actually in a few weeks, Israel is going to issue formal stamps actually acknowledging the 2 industries. So you see on the right, Cytex, the digital pre-press, and on the left, digital printing. And according to the Israeli rules, you're not allowed to put the company name, but we have the picture of the Indigo Series 4 10,000. So that's a great source of pride. And another source of pride, when you came into the country, we have this small airport, and you go down and you go up, right? When you go up this ramp. So when you came in, you could see sort of this ramp. When you leave, after you go through security, please look on the left side. There's a little exhibition that was just put up literally 10 days ago, which is called Israeli Discoveries that influenced the world. And it starts talking about the basic science. We have a picture of Einstein and Chaim Weizmann, who was our first president, who was a very important scientist in the UK and critical to the founding of Israel. And then you walk through different innovations, which include drip irrigation and the cherry tomato and desalination and disc on key and cyber technology, etc. And pretty much after a few pictures, you'll see the Indigo 10,000 as one of the Israeli discoveries that influenced the world. So totally by chance, because the government does what they want anyway, and they don't really listen to us. We have two sort of evidences of our contribution. Obviously, very, very proud of that. But to get back to reality and where we are, 4 years ago, almost exactly to the day, we stood here somewhere in Kiryat Gat and presented our 2012 drupa portfolio. And we really felt that we're bringing a revolution to the printing industry around a new platform which took into account everything we've been hearing from our customers for many, many years. And we designed not just one press, the Indigo 10,000, we designed a platform, and we really made a statement of the entry of Indigo and the HP graphics business in a big way into the packaging world. And at that point of time, obviously, the press was still in demo stages, and we went to drupa, and we showed the press, and we committed to starting betas by the end of the year. And again, a great source of satisfaction for all of us is that 4 years later, we really delivered what we promised. And today, we have well over 300 units of these Series 4 presses, and sorry? Sorry, I can't hear. 2102, a time machine. Oh. We delivered what we promised, the drupa 2000, and we're planning ahead always, so I'd like to extend you a warm invitation. By then, drupa probably will be every year because the Germans will have a lot of innovation, so thank you. 500 people looked at that and nobody caught that. Yeah. There is a song, in the year 2525, if man is still alive. You know that song? Anyway, thank you. So we have these Indigos today in 38 countries around the world, and literally over the last few years, billions and billions of dollars of revenue have been generated by our customers with this technology. So that's one, I think, important milestone for us. The second is that at the same time, at drupa 2012, we came with significant improvements to our Series 3 technology, which was launched 4 years before. But we were always committed to our customers, and we don't just launch the next generation. Obviously, people spend a lot of money with us. So we launched the 7600 and the WS6600. And today, basically, these two series of presses, the 6000 family and the 7000 family, are the workhorse of the industry with over 3,000 installations in 100 countries. And really the backbone of the digital label and the digital photo and the general commercial printing. And again, we have a very clear philosophy that when we introduce innovation, and you'll see that today, we make sure that it's backward compatible and that our existing customers can upgrade. Sometimes we actually give some improvements as part of our service contract. In other cases, the customer has to buy a value pack, but it's very much part of our strategy, and it seems to be working quite well. The other thing I'd like to point out, and this is again very relevant for this drupa as well, we like to show what we can actually ship and sell to our customers within a reasonable time period of, I would say, 12 months. And we do not only release products and innovate at drupa. And if you look at what happened over the last 4 years, there are a lot of things which we didn't talk about at all during drupa 2012. Take an example, the Share a Coke campaign. Share a Coke did not exist in 2012. It was something which was in the works, but only came out a year later. And then a year after that, we came with a Mosaic and the Share a Coke campaign, which actually enabled millions of bottles, each one totally different. And now it's been launched in the United States with the Coke campaign and Budweiser and other brands. And we've continued to evolve this Mosaic technique, and I would say a lot of examples around the world. We introduced the 6800 and the 7800, so new presses with new capabilities, the spectrophotometer, new ink sets, many other improvements. And beyond the presses and the inks themselves, we also put a big emphasis over the last 2 years on working together with our customers in order to enable the customers to print effectively hundreds and sometimes thousands of jobs a day. That's becoming more and more critical. I think the industry is always going to look at the specs of the presses, the speed, the width, the number of colors, etc. But more importantly, our customers are telling us in this changing world, in this world with lack of predictability in what I'm going to be printing tomorrow or in 2 weeks or certainly in 6 months, I need a system, not just a press, that can enable me to generate profitable revenue from hundreds to thousands of jobs a day. So the discussion starts moving from cost per page to cost per job, and cost per job in the sense of getting the job in and out of your shop and to the end customer with no defects, with minimal manual handling and zero mistakes. That's becoming more and more important, and that actually led to the whole philosophy behind PrintOS, which Simon already unveiled. I'll talk a little bit about it today, but you'll hear a lot more tomorrow, less on the technology and more in terms of what that means to the industry and to our customers. Now, all of this obviously has been built around the Indigo LEP technology, which was launched in 1993. So it's been around for 2 decades, but we feel, and I think you'll see it today, that we're still very much climbing on the S-curve in terms of where this technology can go. We're still a relatively young technology. I think we have many decades of potential ahead of us to innovate around this core technology, both around the print quality, and definitely a lot of news there from our side today, around the versatility, because again, the days of 1 or 2 or 3 applications are gone. People want to be able to print pretty much everything. People want to be able to never say no to their customer. But people also want to buy something which is built to last, which can run 24/7 for years and years and years, and this is exactly how our presses are designed. So on the one hand, the core technology hasn't changed, but the world has changed and the world has evolved, and we have to evolve with it. And of course, at the end of the day, beyond many parts of our technology, at the heart of it is the Indigo electro ink. You will see today the manufacturing facilities. Those of you who were here even 2 or 3 years ago will see the evolution, because today obviously we have to serve a big audience with our Series 4 presses, which we didn't have even in production 4 years ago. And we've also opened up our sister plant in Singapore, which now ships the inks to Asia, not only for the Series 2 and Series 3, but for the Series 4 as well. And again, we continue innovating around this core capability, this technology, which is very, very versatile, which enables our customers to meet a very wide range of colors, but also to do a lot of specialty applications, from photo to special whites to fluorescent pink, and we'll talk a little bit more about what we're doing on our ink development. As Francois said, at the end, we're trying to serve our customers who are serving brands and sometimes consumers. And I think in many ways, in 2013, the Share a Coke campaign was a turning point for us. Because until then, we always talked about the ability to leverage print in an exciting way, how print can complement social media, how print is emotional and lasting, and it's not something that is dying. But people were a little bit skeptical. Coca-Cola came and I think proved that print can be connected to social media, and the digital print can print not only hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands, or millions of products, but actually billions and billions. And this Share a Coke campaign, which started in dozens of countries in Europe and then moved to Mexico and to Russia and to Africa and North America, and then took the mosaic and made every single label, bottle, shrink sleeve totally different, really excited the brands in a very, very broad way. And today we're really seeing amazing traction with the brands. And we'll talk about a lot of examples today. And obviously there are a lot more that are behind the scenes being done today, which we cannot talk about until the products actually hit the shelf, but many of them will hit the shelves actually even before drupa, so I'm sure we'll have more exciting news to share. And as an organization, we've put a much bigger focus on working with brands. So we still have work to do to evangelize digital printing with commercial printers, certainly with packaging printers that actually don't even understand in many cases what digital is all about. But a big part of our resources today as HP, as the graphics industry, is to influence the brands to use print as a key part of their strategy, and to look at commercial print and packaging not just as an afterthought or as a functional barrier to put some kind of a food inside, but as part of your marketing mix. And we have real proof point from the brands that when you do it together in an effective way, and Coca-Cola is a great example, and Oreo, and Bud, and many others, you actually can measure the rate of return in terms of increased sales, in terms of social media impact, et cetera, et cetera. And this seems to have worked because in many ways the last 4 years have not been easy for the world economy, and certainly not for printing. And we continue to see in the industry consolidation. We see some of the big guys really struggling, splitting up or divesting resources. We see a lot of the small and medium-sized businesses either being bought out or merging or unfortunately going out of business. And our customers continue to grow and continue to do quite well. Again, it's not all the 4,000 something customers we have, but on average we continue to see pretty good growth for a pretty large industry that again has generated, it's hard to get the accurate number, but we estimate $40 to $50 billion in revenue over the last 4 years. And very profitable revenue, I would say, and a growing revenue. And this is not something which I think you can say about the industry at large. Obviously, there's some exceptions. And I will say it hasn't been easy. So it's not like it was in 2000 or 2004 or 2008, but evangelizing digital and the move to digital is still not easy. It's not easy on the commercial space, and it's not easy on the packaging space, where by far and large, the converters are quite comfortable with where they are, to some extent like the offset commercial printers were 15, 20 years ago. I mean, they didn't see really a need to change. They had their Heidelberg or Komari that were doing quite well. They had a rather predictable world. Many of the packaging guys are there. But there are those that get it, and we understand for our customers it's a huge decision to make an investment in an Indigo, certainly in an Indigo Series 4, which is well over $1 million, and by the time you add all the finishing and workflow and IT and infrastructure, it can easily get to $2 million. And I really love this article that came out from a great Australian customer that I visited in February of 2015. Small business that bought the 10,000 and standing there proudly. And at the end, the reason they bought it, I love their quote, is that they decided there was more risk in not changing. They knew they were taking a big risk by buying this. It's a big financial investment. You have to pay a monthly leasing rate, you have to pay service, you have to invest in your people, but they decided there was more risk in not changing. So they bought it, and they got very excited. And then actually is where the interesting part starts, because what we obviously offer to our customers is a lot more than a press. And I was visiting a customer in Mexico with Alejandro, who's here somewhere, 2 weeks ago, and he told me, I love this because I'm a bit of an amateur gardener, that buying an Indigo is like planting a seed. You want to really grow the tree and get the fruits. And you know it's a long-term process, but you have to take care of the little seed to have it grow into a tree. You have to water it, you have to take out the weeds, you have to fertilize it, et cetera, et cetera. And he said, that's exactly what you do for us. You don't just come in and give me the seed. You're there, you help me with your business development and your innovation and your consulting, et cetera. And we realize, and again, this is a quote from a customer, that the Indigo is a very hungry machine, so we need to feed the beast. You need to feed it. You need to put jobs. And jobs is not 2 jobs a day during 10,000 sheets. That could happen, especially if the sheets are all variable and mosaic or web to print personalized. But in many cases, you have to feed this beast with hundreds and sometimes thousands of jobs a day. And again, I visited a customer in Germany not long ago, and the customer told me that 4 years ago they were doing 10,000 jobs a year. And this year there are 350,000, and their goal in 3 years is to get to 1 million jobs a year. And these are not crazy numbers for many of our customers today. Now, to do 1 million jobs a year, you can't just do it by buying 20 presses and having 20 operators and 23 pre-press people and extending your finishing. You have to change your mindset. You have to change the way you do everything. You have to really transform your operation. And as you'll see as I get to the portfolio, a lot of our innovation is around enabling this flow of 1 million jobs a year. With that, I want to get into our portfolio, but before that, step back, and many of you have seen me show and others show this vision and mission slide, which actually we defined with Francois and others in 2004. And I'm not going to go through all the words, etc., but first of all, what's evolved over time, while the vision has stayed quite consistent, is the fact that we definitely see packaging as a much bigger part of our future, and I think you'll hear the same from David. Definitely packaging is a growth opportunity, first of all because the industry itself is growing, secondly it's almost untouched by digital, and the opportunity is massive if you can hit the right specs for the industry, which is a very big if. It's very complicated, but I think we know how to do it. The second thing is we've actually added to our vision the fact that we need to transform not how our customers are operating, but how the brands, designers, agencies, and consumers leverage print. And today, I think HP is leading the industry. And part of our mission is not just to sell more presses or to capture more pages. It's actually to excite brands, young generation, consumers about print. You know, this myth that print is dying and print is not important and print has no effect is nonsense. And even today, 4 years, 5 years after this hype about books all moving to the Kindle and the printed book is dead and all the schools will transform to no printing, there are so many surveys that actually prove that the combination of digital but also of a printed book for children is so much more effective. And that's certainly true for capturing your memories. Just keeping it on this thing is not going to ensure that you keep your memories for decades. It's true for packaging for sure. It's true for every element. Now for Indigo, we continue to invest, as we have in the past, well over $100 million a year in R&D. And the large focus is definitely on our presses and on the inks. But I will say that we're putting a much larger emphasis on the workflow and the print servers, because without that, you can't generate 1 million jobs a year. And as we get into packaging, the material part of our company is becoming more important. You can't just print. You have to think what happens after you print it. The lamination, the pouching, the folding, the gluing, the bottling, et cetera, and here the fact that we basically are a material company with electro ink in our veins, I think helps us at least work together with our partners to find innovative solutions. So we've sort of defined this PrintOS as a cross HP graphic arts platform, but a platform that's also quite open for partners and for customers to innovate around. And with that, I want to move to the Indigo portfolio. So actually, this is my slide from 2006. This is not a typo. This is 2006. And for those of you that were at our press conference in 2006, this is literally the slide. We presented our new portfolio. The 5000 was our latest and greatest press, just released in late 2005. Our bestseller was the 3050, but most of our customers were still printing on the Series 1. This is a great example of the Series 1 initial press. We basically were collaborating mostly with Creo on the DFE, because we didn't have that good a DFE. I see Craig and Scott there, so they're responsible for changing that. And we were working with companies like Direct Smile and Printable and XMPie and Pressense that were all these small little startups that have pretty much been swallowed. And the finishing big partners that we had were Dorn and Neil Peter and DCM. It was a different world. Obviously, our customers were playing around. The world relatively small. And why am I showing you that? Because being a gardener, I really love this quote. which says that the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, but the second best time is now. So those that entered digital 10 years ago, and you know many of them, these are the Gary Peelings and the John from Procos, and actually the Shutterflies and the Simpresses of this world, and many others, the Wing Hungs, etc., they actually stepped into this mostly around the 2000, 2004, 2006 timeframe, seeing the 5000 and believing that the future is digital and they have to change and to transform. And for most of them, the Indigo 5000 or 3050 was their first real digital press, complementing their analog, usually Heidelberg offset fleet. And now I really want to talk to you about the 2016 news, and just to set the frame, the fortunate thing is you guys took the time to come here and spend 2 days with us, so I don't have to be in a situation that 23 minutes from now you know all the portfolio and all the details and you're going to tweet it and publish it. So I'm going to give you the frame. You're going to spend a few hours actually in front of every single press, most of them today, a few you'll see tomorrow. You'll be able to ask questions. All these presses are printing. All these presses will be shipping by the end of this year, and each press has a lot of specific news, and we'll try to convey it in an effective way. I will just go through some of the products because I can't cover everything, and honestly, for each cover, I'll give some of the high-level news. I can't go too deep. But again, I'll try to frame the news both in terms of the press portfolio and in terms of the changes in our core technology. So here we go. First of all, we divide our press portfolio into the commercial and into the labels and packaging world. So we have in the labels and packaging the labels and the sleeves, and then we have the flexible packaging and folding cartons, and the commercial covers a broad range of applications, primarily the high-value general commercial printing, the photo, and the high end of the publishing. And we see it as very complementary, to the offset and gravure and flexo technology. We're never claiming that we're going to replace everything. We actually see ourselves as complementary, and I think we're very complementary to what David will talk to you about on the inkjet world. And some of the applications that 10 years ago were printed on the Indigo have moved to the PWP presses, and some will stay on the Indigo, and I think it's a very healthy combination, and again, HP offers the customer a choice. The second division, which I think is important to look at, is the format. So 5 years ago, all the Indigo presses were the A3 format, the 7000, 6000 family. 4 years ago, we introduced the B2 format, focusing around the 10,000 specifically, but starting to get into the packaging. And today, we're also going to talk a little bit about the B1 format. Just to sort of add another note before I move a little bit to the technology, the highest end of the portfolio is going to be the Indigo 50,000. This is an oversized B1 press, 2 engines, which we believe is a great fit for the larger customers that have high volume around specific applications like photo, like yearbooks, etc. And we have a single engine derivative of this B1 engine, the Indigo 20,000, which is optimized for commercial presses. We're introducing the 12,000 with a lot of improvements and expansions to the Indigo 10,000. Not changing the names of the 20 and 30,000 for packaging, but quite significant changes there as well. We're introducing a new double-speed, double-engine label press called the HP Indigo 8000. And then we're actually revamping both the Series 3 press. The 7800 is moving to the 7900, and the 56 is moving to the 5900. And again, I'll talk about some of them, not all of them. It is important to know that there's a lot of commonality and leverage between the platforms. And as we've worked with our customers over the last few years, we've tried to really focus on what's important for them. The first element is quality, and we're making significant improvements in our quality by fundamental changes in the Indigo process, and I'll talk about that in a second. We're hearing more and more about the importance of color to our customers. And this is actually a very interesting learning from the packaging world to the commercial printing world. And of course, we've always had commercial printers that pride themselves on their quality and consistency, But the reality that the needs in the packaging market are much, much more stringent. The packaging guys need to be able to print the Share a Coke campaign and to have it come to the shelf sometimes from 4 different printers or from jobs that were printed over 3 or 4 months. And the color has to be identical. You can't have a small change. We actually believe that over time this is going to become more and more important for the brands on the commercial side as well, and we've integrated a lot of improvements in this area for our presses. We've obviously looked at the range of applications, and I think today we've brought our presses to a situation that it doesn't matter if you buy a Series 2 or a Series 3 or a Series 4, you not only get very high quality and perfect color, you're also going to get the very broad range of applications. So the one-shot technology, which enabled us in the past to print plastics and canvas and other very high-value applications, first on the Series 2 and then on the Series 3, is now coming to the Series 4 as well. Now, for some of our customers, this is really what they want. They want this versatility, this ability to print high-value, high-quality applications. But for others, they add a very, very additional request, which is the productivity. For some, it's the ability to print thousands of jobs a day. For others, it's just the ability to print 24/7 with a very high uptime. So we are putting a lot of focus on that and talk about some of the innovations there. And last and not least, in bringing everything together, it's the Print OS. And all the Indigo presses that you'll see today and all the Indigo presses sold from now, and actually most 90-something% of the Indigo presses today gathered around the world are already Print OS enabled. So we have today advanced testing with over 100 presses, but our goal is that by the end of 2016, the vast majority of our thousands of presses will be connected to Print OS. It's already built into the software that exists today. The minute we formally release it at drupa, we will actually be enrolling customers on the booth in order to be connected. It's a very fast process. There's nothing they really need to do. Everything is enabled, and then they can benefit from all these applications that Simon will share. So let me just start going relatively quickly through the portfolio. The first product is the 12,000. Now this is built on the Indigo 10,000, which has been very successful. And again, it's sort of leveraging what we said in 2012, that it's everything you expected about Indigo, just bigger. So it has the 7 colors, and it has the broad ink set, and it has the versatility of the media. This is a sample that I picked up in Germany from a customer of ours that's using, the 7-color capability, and really stunning images and showing what can be done here with the simulation of the pantons, et cetera, et cetera. So it's already a great press, and what we hear from our customers is that they actually want to take it to places where some of our customers have taken the Series 3 in terms of improvement in the application range, but also improvements in the productivity, improvements in the media range, improvements in the ink range. So again, we've had customers that already could take the 10,000 and print just unbelievably beautiful pieces on it, with white ink and metallized and amazing skin tones, but it really took hard work. And what we're doing now with the 12,000 is integrating really dozens of improvements in the print quality and expanding the range of applications quite dramatically, while not forgetting that we have customers today that are actually operating 4, 5, 6 of these Indigos 24/7, and for them the most important thing is getting these millions and millions of pages out every single month. We're actually changing some of the core supplies, and we'll talk about it in great detail in front of the press. So the Indigo process includes the electro ink, it includes the blanket, it includes the bid. All of these are changing in order to enable a better and a smoother and a sharper image. And what we're also bringing to the 12,000, which we believe is quite revolutionary, is laser array, what we call the writing head, which has double the resolution. So that really takes the quality to the next level. And this is actually the only part of our portfolio that we're saying up front will be available broadly in 2017. Everything else I will talk about and relate to is 2016. Some is already in beta testing. Some will be released at drupa. Again, you will be able to see the samples, and I think in front of the machine it'll be a little bit easier to explain it. Again, we're releasing new ink sets and the ability to print canvas, and you'll see some of the samples. And there's a lot of focus, again, on the productivity. And productivity is not just uptime of the press. It's a lot of software elements, algorithms, improvements in diagnostics, proactive maintenance that are critical, and a new DFE, which again is shared across all the portfolio. So all Indigo customers now, from the Series 2 to the Series 4, can benefit from a new RIP, which is 30% faster and can drive and feed the beast. I'm not going to talk about the 7900 because actually the 7900 is getting exactly the same capabilities of the 12,000 with the exception of the laser writing head. And this is a philosophy because we see many of our customers operating a 10,000, in the future a 10,000, a 12,000, and a 7900 in one shop and optimizing the flow based on in positioning, media type, etc. The typical Indigo customer will have offset and will have the Indigos. They'll get the job into the shop and automatically they'll start routing it to where it makes sense. Obviously, more of the jobs will flow to the digital, less of the jobs will flow to the offset, but these will be the longer run jobs. And you need to be able to ensure that the color consistency is there. What we're adding on all of our presses, again, it doesn't matter if it's a 79 or a 12,000, is the ability to actually ensure that the color consistency is maintained. You can fingerprint for every specific media the qualities of the media. You can load it into your private cloud, and then you can share between presses, between sites, or with a network of printers that you define. And think of the Share Code campaign, and there are many of these examples, where actually a brand comes and says, I want to do this job. I want multiple printers to use it, but I want to ensure consistency. And today, because it's digital, you can actually spec the media type, and you can make sure that you print it in 5 countries, and it doesn't matter which Indigo it is. We will guarantee the identical color consistency between jobs and between presses. And then, of course, we have the 50,000, which is taking our 20,000, which we honestly developed primarily for flexible packaging, but we've seen it move more and more into additional applications, not only labels, but we have customers using it already today for B1 posters or for point of sale material. These posters here are printed on canvas on the 20,000, and it's really an incredible diverse engine. And now we've actually put 2 engines together with the whole software and ability to print duplex, very, very high quality prints. And for many applications, the impositioning, again, is amazing. You get 10 up, where on other presses you could get a 4 up. So this is really the high end of the Indigo product line with a very, very strong value proposition around the quality, but also the Indigo versatility, etc. I will say that while obviously a lot of our focus is on packaging and on the high end, we're not abandoning what we call the entry-level portfolio. We know it's a very crowded space. We know there are a lot of great toner devices out there that are improving in terms of speed and capability, but we still believe that the Indigo technology has something very unique to it, and we're not abandoning this space by any means. We're actually launching the 5900, and I have here a small example, which I think it's interesting, because this is a 5900 print, which is printed with the new capabilities of going much thicker and really doing cards, etc. It utilizes mosaic, so the technology which enables you to do every single one differently. It utilizes our one-shot technology. So basically, again, it gives you all the Indigo capabilities, the color range, the media gamut, etc., but obviously at a much more affordable entry level versus what you need to pay for the 79 or the 10,000. And for many customers, and certainly in a big part of the world, what's called the emerging economies, this is the way to get in. And we have a pretty good track record that our customers start with the entry-level press, and then they move to the 7900, and then they move up the scale. All these presses actually will connect to the new DFE, and all these presses are connected to PrintOS. So we're actually telling a customer, you can buy into the system, You can get the quality, the versatility, you can use the DFE, you connect to the cloud. When you're ready, we'll take the press out, and then you can upgrade to the next generation press. Another element in here is what we call our R series. We're launching a set of presses which are going through a reconditioning cycle here in the factory, where we basically are now taking back presses that are 5, 7, 8 years old. Customers want to upgrade, and instead of just having them being dismantled or randomly being sold in the market, we're recertifying them and reselling them in the market. So we have the 5R, the 7R. This also holds true for the 6R. And it's part of our strategy of actually building presses that can last a long time. So think of a 7-year cycle usually that the Indigo customer uses the press. Then they'll trade it up to the next level. We get it back, and we sell it to somebody that's just starting out. So it's a pretty good cycle. So that's sort of the variety of products that we're launching on the commercial side. And again, you'll hear a lot more details. On the packaging side, let me just start with the 6800. Many of you were at Label Expo. I think you saw the breadth of the solution. And at that time, we were talking about launching a new white ink with the ability to get to very different opacity levels, all the way up to silk screen. Very openly, for many years, we believe that the inherent Indigo technology, which creates such a thin layer of ink, will never enable us to get to an opaque white, just because of the nature of the technology. And Alon Gazit's team and the R&D a few years ago proved that that's wrong, and actually there are ways of doing it in a different way than we thought of doing it. But at the end of the day, the result is really stunning. And today we already have commercial customers that are printing it both on clear substrates and on metallized, and really reaching silk screen effects and stunning applications. So this is out. We've also released our fade-resistant ink, which is important for some chemical labels and labels that have to sit outdoor. We're releasing the fluorescent pink. So again, you see sort of the leverage between the commercial space, but also the specific needs for the 6800. But you also see things we've developed for the labels world, like the color management, the spectrophotometer, the ability to fingerprint media, which we're now transitioning into the commercial space. And I will say it's very interesting. We're starting to see more and more commercial customers that are actually starting to enter packaging, because they see that the commercial space, even if they do a great job, if they look 5 years out, it's a crowded space. So you have customers that are full commercial printers buying label presses, certainly starting to dabble in folding carton applications, which is quite interesting. So in the label world, we've seen amazing growth. We have strong demand from brands, Coca-Cola and others. And our customers basically told us what we really need from you guys at this point of time is speed and efficiency. And with that, we've developed and are now ready to introduce the Indigo 8000, which is a double-engine press. You'll see it printing here with an AB graphics inline solution. And the speed and productivity of this press is really unbelievable. Of course, it leverages the same infrastructure of the 6800 in terms of color range, whiting, premium white, all the goodies there. But it's running 80 meters per minute. And with this AB graphics innovation, you can actually run at press speed and get the end product. And we're seeing a lot of excitement in the market for this. We have beta customers lined up, and we think this press is going to revolutionize the label industry. I mean, we're already with over 1,000 presses, and we're selling more 6800s than any conventional press, but this will open up the market for not only longer runs, but I think for the brands to say, I can do anything I want now. And just with just a few of these, you can print billions and billions of labels. So this is very powerful. Some of our customers are already using the 20,000 for labels, and in many ways the output of the 8,000 in label per hour is very similar to the 20,000. But the 20,000 is a wide format, and it's really not the sweet spot for most of our label customers. They want the narrow width, they have the AB graphics, they have the whole solution setup. So while the 20,000 is a great press for labels as well for some customers, and it does these exotic applications of B1 and balloons and in molds and sleeves, we're really focusing here on the flexible packaging as our key target. And in this area, there are a few things that we're releasing on the 20,000. First of all, we're expanding the range of substrates that the press prints on. We started with very specific set, and now we're expanding it to PE and more complicated materials, stretchable and sleeves and in molds, laminated tubes, etc. And again, we're releasing the same high opaque white ink for this press, which I think is very important for the flexible packaging industry. And last and not least, we're launching today what we call the HP Indigo Pack Ready. Now, today you have the ability with the 20,000 to get a print or a job and to actually produce it and get the rollout relatively quickly. And we have a customer in Europe that just came out a few weeks ago with a press release saying he now guarantees that any job he gets, he will fulfill as an end product within 4 days. And that's a revolution in this flexible packaging industry that usually the lead time is 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You have to print it, you have to cure it, you have to laminate it, you have to wait, pouch it, etc., etc. So 4 days is already wow. We want to actually enable our customers to get things out in hours. If I take it to the extreme, minutes. And to do that, it's not enough to print it digitally. You have to be able to actually create the laminate and the pouch instantaneously. And that takes a combination of hardware, but mostly material science and innovation around how you take the roll, which has the electro ink on it, and you combine it with something else, which is the lamination, and you make sure that the combination enables you to go directly into creating the pouch. So you'll see tomorrow an example of this running in our labs. So one element of this pack ready is the ability to go faster. The other element is our ability to climb up the value chain. So packaging is very important in terms of communication. The pouch has to be beautiful, it has to have the brand colors, it has to be consistent. But unlike most other prints, it also has to go through a microwave or pasteurization process or the freezer, and it goes in and it goes out, and it has to be able to do all of that. And that's very, very difficult. So we're going to work with a lot of partners around a system which will enable our customers with our solutions, but with our partner solutions, to get to higher and higher performance applications such as retort, etc. And the combination of high-value applications, fast time to market, and not compromising on the quality, we think is quite powerful. Again, you'll see all of this printing over the next 2 days. On the 30,000, our focus has been on the folding carton market. Very interesting market, very high quality demands, and quite frankly, Offset has a great solution for folding cartons. Offset has optimized itself. It can do make-readies very quickly. Color consistency on Offset is fantastic. And we really need to come with a solution which enables our customers to bring the added value, again, complementing their great Offset. So as you'll see here in a few minutes, there are quite a few things that we're trying to do there. We've added an integrated Corona to the press as an option for those customers that want to move beyond boards and print on metallized, synthetics, dark substrates, transparencies. This is a great example of something printed on the 30,000 with this fantastically opaque white. I have another great example of the 30,000, which again I got as a present in Mexico 2 weeks ago, and it's worthwhile telling this story. So from those from Mexico know what this is. This is the Virgin, and I was told this is the most visited Christian site in the world. This was printed on an Indigo 30,000 on a metallized board. It's driven through a website where you can go inside and you actually get this beautifully printed piece with your name on it, signed by the cardinal, so guaranteed that it's authentic. There's a small security feature here where my name is printed in microtext, small, tiny fonts that are only doable on the Indigo on the side. And you can go into the website, it's live, and it's obviously sold for a very, very nice price. But it's actually priceless, because this is something you order and you put for your family on the wall. Again, a great application. We did not design the 30,000 to print these kind of applications. But some customer came up with this idea. And actually the same customer said, if I'm already building this website and I already have the capabilities, I can actually produce on-demand pictures of the Pope's visit to Mexico just a few weeks ago, again metallized, or print pictures of your favorite football player through a website. So this is not exactly packaging, but it's, I think, a great example. You'll see a lot of these applications and what our customers are doing over the next few days. So some of these capabilities are on our presses, but we have this solution-based philosophy, and you'll see also big improvements on the Treasure line, which enables you now not only double coder, but to add silver and gold flexo, inline inspection from AVT. So it's, again, it's a lot more an end-to-end system. And if you add the solutions for finishing from Skodix and Hycon and Kama, you really start building this capability of producing these dozens and hundreds of jobs a day, even in folding carton, which is a very big differentiation. Last again and not least, PrintOS. So I'm going to leave for Simon the details, but I do want to give a few examples of what PrintOS is already doing for some of our customers. So first of all, I will say PrintOS is a combination of tools that exist today and of a vision for a platform that will enable our partners and our customers and ourselves to innovate. It's a very open system. We already have quite a few partners that are integrating into this capability. I'm sure Simon will relate to that. We have customers that are already pretty capable with IT departments of taking some of the data and doing interesting things with it. But we really want to do is enable our customers to get more out of their existing presses and also to drive more business in a more efficient way. What we need to do is to enable customers to know what their status is, how they're doing between shifts, which operator is more efficient, how do they get updated and upgraded with the latest and greatest information and data. And these are basically apps that will sit in the cloud and the customers will be able to use them. In many cases, as a standard part of their service contract. In some cases, it will be a pay per use based on volume or things like that. Specifically, I want to talk about two applications that our customers are testing now. PrintBeat is a concept that we developed over the last 2 years, which takes information from the press and organizes in a way which is relevant for our customers. You can say in many ways that Indigo was dealing with the Internet of Things 20 years ago before anybody called it the Internet of Things, because all our presses are connected online to us. You used to have to connect them once a day with a modem and download the information. Today it's all online. And you actually know every single event on the press. And it's literally millions and millions of events. Now, how do you organize that in a manner which the customer can use in an efficient way? It's not trivial. And many of our customers have 3 or 5 or 10 presses. So today, through this application, everything is online. You can put it on your mobile. You can put it on an LCD screen in your floor. You can track where you are exactly in terms of efficiency, production. You can benchmark yourself versus the norm in the world, versus other sites. You can create competition between operators, between shifts, etc. So again, Simon will share more detail, but it's a pretty neat application. And the fact that today it's going to be accessible through the mobile, I think, is very, very nice. Another small example of a solution which we believe is going to help a lot of our customers that don't have large IT departments and still don't even know how to deal with the transition to digital is the PrintOS box, which is actually optimized to enable receipt of files from numerous sources and getting them then onto your presses in an efficient way. So think of the customer that if he's today doing 10 or 20 or 30 jobs a day, and we tell him buy an Indigo and get up to 500 jobs a day, he's thinking, I have to hire 5 customer service reps. And that's too much, it's scary. Where I'm going to get them, it's a fixed cost. And we're saying no. Part of your PrintOS, part of your press is the ability to hook up into this, get emails, use web-to-print capabilities, and just route everything directly to production. Again, this is not something we're doing by ourselves. There are a lot of partners. There are a lot of web-to-print solution providers, MIS vendors, finishing vendors that are starting to connect to this system. Now again, we're just releasing it, so not everything is 100% live, but these are already companies that are actually connecting, and customers are testing this, and I'm sure by the time we get to Drupa, we'll be able to share a lot more specifics with data. What are they doing? How much does it help them? Et cetera, et cetera. I did forget to show actually two things. So you'll see it in the application area. These are examples of pouches that are printed already on the Indigo pack ready. So, done immediately. Again, the same high quality. And I think more interestingly, and I just saw this morning, is a beautiful canvas print printed on the 20,000. So again, one of these new applications we're opening up in terms of format, in terms of the media, and in terms of the print quality and the image. And of course, there are other technologies that can do this, but not at our speed, efficiency, and cost. So are we going to have 1,000 customers buying 20,000s to print canvas? No. But will we have some that will leverage it for high-value applications? Absolutely. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the day. David, please.